Howdy ESSM 406. In this lecture I want to explain to you what public goods are. Many environmental goods are public goods. What's a public good? Well, the simplest kind of public good that we can think of, the kind of paradigmatic example of a public good, is national defense. How is national defense a public good? Well, we all benefit from having our country defended against people who would like to harm our country, right? But if I pay for national defense, can I prevent you from being defended? Let's say maybe our country is at risk of being invaded by some enemy. And I say, well, we need an army. I'm going to pay for an army, but because I paid for it, this army is only going to protect me from being defended, from being invaded. You guys who live in other parts of College Station, you don't live in my house. My army is not going to protect you. It's only going to protect me. That's obviously a little silly, right? The army has to protect everybody. So national defense is a public good because it's provided to everyone. But we all actually have an incentive to not pay for it. Because if I don't pay for national defense and everyone else pays for it, you're all suckers. I'm getting it for free because you can't exclude me from it. So the key idea in public goods is you can't exclude people from it. Well, what are other things that you can't exclude people from? Think about air. Can you exclude people from breathing the clean air? The air is clean? No, you can't exclude people. Everyone is going to get the benefit. You can't exclude people from it. So that makes air a public good. Now, what's the market problem? I told you that this unit was going to be about market problems. And what's the market problem with air? What's the market problem with national defense? Well, if I can trick you all into paying for this stuff, and I can get it for free, that's pretty good for me. I still get the air, I still get defended, but I don't have to pay for it. That's just fantastic, right? So we all have an incentive to do that. We all have these very strong incentives to be free riders, to escape from having to pay for public goods. So that means that public goods tend to be underprovided by markets. If we had a market for defense, for security, and we didn't have a government that provided us an army, then how would we get... Well, we'd each have to buy our own private army, right, to defend us. Maybe a few of us would band together. Maybe everyone in College Station would band together. But then we'd have this free rider problem again. So a major justification for government intervention in providing an army is that it actually makes us much safer. We're all better off if the government compels us to pay taxes so that we can have one army instead of everyone having their own army. So the same thing applies to a problem like clean air. It's better for the government to provide it than for us. Say there's a factory in our town that's producing a lot of local air pollution. Each one of us could build a bubble around our house that would exclude the air pollution from our house. We'd have to each install a very expensive air filter around our house to prevent us from having to breathe this, right? So that seems kind of expensive. But if we didn't have the government step in and compel us, then we might all end up in that situation because we wouldn't have a good way of coordinating each other to resist this pollution, this factory that was polluting our air. So public goods are a pretty common kind of environmental problem, but we'll have to distinguish them from what I'm going to talk about in the next lecture, which is common pool goods. Common pool goods are a little bit more complicated, and the readings, as well as these additional videos I'm providing links, will help explain to you how a common pool good is different from a public good.